Welcome to our second episode of Hometown Talks with Save Davidson. This is where we talk about preserving Davidson's small town quality of life by educating and engaging citizens in town governance through community advocacy and activism. I'm your host, Denise Beal. Today we're taking a brief detour from our originally scheduled multi-part series on the history of Davidson and the Beaty property to bring you important information about a proposed development project happening in the town of Davidson on Pot Street. There are various concerns about this high-density development, and joining me today is Carolyn Honea, and she is a Davidson resident, local small business owner, mother of four, an advocate for her neighborhood in the Potts Catawba area near South Main. She has been active with Save Davidson since its early days as Save West Davidson Tree Canopy. Welcome, Carolyn.
Good morning.
To give a little background on this topic, Crescent Acquisitions, LLC proposes to develop a 15-acre site towards 115 in the YMCA where the trees create a beautiful natural tunnel headed towards Cornelius. The proposed development is to accommodate construction of 250 multifamily residents, which consists of 8 buildings plus an amenity building. In 2017, citizens voiced concerns about the scale of the project and the process the Town of Davidson Planning Department followed, or didn't follow, including citizen concern that ordinances were changed to accommodate this project. In an effort to stop this inappropriate development, the newly elected town board denied the extension of sewer and water to the site, which resulted in Crescent Acquisitions, LLC filing lawsuit against the Town of Davidson. Incidentally, and of particular interest, Save Davidson was mentioned in that lawsuit for activating and educating citizens on this topic. Carolyn, can you tell me a little bit about this project and what is it and when did it start and when did you get involved?
Yes, so the land that we're speaking of is on Pot Street. If you're driving on Pot Street, coming from Davidson and heading towards Cornelius, it would be on your right. And it's a wooded area. Most of it you can't see from the street, but it includes about 15 acres, although the area that the apartments are planned for is really mostly a 12-acre site. So we're talking about squeezing in 250 units on about 12 acre of parcel, so wow. Very dense. Mm-hmm. And that was first submitted to the town in May of 2017. So I heard about it shortly thereafter. I live on Pot Street. I think I first heard about it just by seeing the sign driving by that there was a proposal to the town. And from there, it was really my neighborhood and the community that sought out the information and the details on what was planned and the proposal. And as we dug into it more, a lot of concerns came up. So
what did you think the first time you saw this plan?
I was shocked, to be honest. When I purchased my home on that street, we knew that there was a large parcel of land that would eventually be developed. But I remember when we were in the process of buying that home, standing there looking at that parcel and thinking, well, I'm sure it will be developed, but everyone knows the Town of Davidson has strict planning laws, and surely they'll do a good job with the growth and the plan for it. And so when I saw that apartments could be allowed at that level of density in this neighborhood area, I was truly shocked that would even match with our ordinances and requirements. And honestly, as I look into it deeper, I don't feel like it does match the actual ordinances on the books.
Okay. And so I guess hand in hand with that, I wanted to ask you why citizens are upset. And I mean, you touched on it a little bit. Are there other reasons that you can cite?
Yes. So obviously the density is a huge part of it. The land is surrounded by single-family homes, mostly one home on a half-acre lot. And so it really does not fit with the scale of the neighborhood. The traffic is a huge concern. There's currently only one entrance to the apartments planned for this apartment unit. So all the traffic will flow in and out of Pot Street. And according to the traffic analysis, that's 1,800 daily vehicle trips in and out a day that they expect.
Wow.
On this small road, no curb, no lane markers. So that's a huge concern as well.
And that's right on Potts?
Yep, right, couple doors down.
Right where that beautiful tunnel is that I mentioned.
Yes, it is. And the trees are another huge concern. They did a tree count, and there's about 700 trees on that property.
Wow.
And they show 116 out of the almost 700 trees that they plan to save. And so we're losing a huge part of the tree canopy in one of the few places left in town that has that much tree canopy left.
Yeah, that's right. Air quality and heating and cooling. I mean, it gets very hot when you cut down all those trees.
Yes, and there's a lot of little creatures living in there that we see every day.
So I remember seeing pictures of families of deer running across pots and things like that.
Yeah, there are.
Okay, so generally speaking, text amendments are changes to texts within ordinances that specify what builders can and cannot do. Text amendment changes were made to the ordinance for this project and were originally approved by the previous town board, which included a home builder, a land planner, and a commercial banker. What are the issues with this?
One of the issues is that Mr. Genest, who was on the board prior, is also responsible, his company is responsible for the land planning and site plan for the apartment. So Cole Genest and Stone had a significant role in preparing and planning this apartment complex, but he also voted on many of the text amendments that have been passed in the past 10 plus years that affected the zoning and the ability to squeeze in apartments in this zoning area.
Which is very frustrating for citizens.
It is. It feels like a conflict of interest.
Yes, I agree with you. It does. What types of arguments have been put forth both for and against this project?
One of the things our neighborhood has been told several times is that Davidson should be a place where everyone can live, and it was implied that we're trying to keep out the average American from being able to afford to live in Davidson because these apartments supposedly were bringing more affordable housing into the neighborhood.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up because I had done research on that, and I was wondering, if you know what the monthly rental rate would be for any of these apartments. I mean, you may not know, but
it would not be considered affordable, I don't think, to the average American. There's no official affordable units required because these are all rental units. And so probably there'll be at least $1,200 a month, I would expect.
Which is a lot.
And possibly a lot more because these are probably the closest to Main Street of any apartments in Davidson. So I would expect the rates to be higher than even other apartments in Davidson.
Okay. I had done previously a little bit of research. For the Linden, which is right off of exit 30, a studio runs for about $975 a month, and it goes all the way up to $2,000 a month for a two-bedroom that's a little over 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
If you compare that to a mortgage on a $400,000 home, it's almost the same.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like, how can you put forth that affordable housing argument?
Right. It's not that much different than home ownership.
Yes.
And yet, at the same time, we're squeezing in 250 units for the same price, supposedly, that Americans can afford homes in other areas nearby.
And it sounds to me like that's a false argument or an excuse to put it in there for the developer to make money. Okay, so we've now talked about everything high level, what we think about the project and the text amendments and the conflicts of interest. What would residents ideally envision on that land?
We would like to see neighborhood areas that reflect the surrounding community around that parcel. So single family homes, 3rd to half acre lots, and maybe some townhomes or duplexes. But everything surrounding it is 2 stories. So we would really like to see that scale reflected in whatever is built there. And maybe also some neighborhood amenities like a bigger park or schools or churches or child care facilities, things that really serve the neighborhood. Right now, in Crescent's outreach to the area, they keep telling us that there will be a neighborhood park and there will be a dog park. But in reality, the realignment of Pot Street cuts right through that open space and that park. They've intentionally planned that park to go where the road will go. Okay. And so we don't even feel like that's a true amenity to the community because there's going to be a road through the middle of it.
That's frustrating.
Very.
At this point, there's a few things coming up. What actions would you like listeners to take?
Yes. So We have the planning board meeting, which is on Monday night. That's an opportunity for the folks on the planning board to become familiar with this application, and there'll be an informal discussion about it.
Okay.
But the public is also welcome to comment at that meeting. Each person can have 3 minutes to comment.
Okay,
So
good.
we would love for folks to come prepared to share about their concerns and their questions. So that
Okay.
would be the first opportunity.
So that is a planning board meeting, and that will be on Monday, April 29th
And it
at
is-
Town Hall.
Mhm.
And they've added a public comment, which they don't normally
Yes.
do, 3 minutes.
Correct. That
So-
is what we've been told.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. And then what else?
And then later that week, this is on Thursday, May 2nd, there's a public feedback meeting where Crescent will be presenting their plan to the community. They say that they're going to have a presentation at 5:15 and 6:15,
Okay.
followed by opportunity for people to ask questions and provide feedback. So
Okay.
this is another opportunity for folks to come and present their concerns and their questions. And we would really love to see people put pressure on the fact that this is not truly following the heart of our ordinances, which says any development should be matching the scale and the character and the feel of the community.
Okay, great. Carolyn, thank you for coming in, and I think this is really valuable for people to hear your voice and hear the story and understand, and then know about next steps on what to do. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Sure. Is there anything else before we go that you want that we haven't talked about that you want to cover that?
I think that's it for today.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I just want to remind everyone to sign up for the Save Davidson monthly newsletter, where you can get information about this and other important topics. Read our blogs and see historical documents on savedavidson.org. You can check out the Save Davidson YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. To be part of the conversation, you can join us on Save Davidson, the official group on Facebook. Thank you very much.
Sun comes up over the pines out on Logger's farm. That's when I know that I'm home, and I'm where I belong. Lights are shining bright on South Street. They're playing ball at McKelvey Field. And when I see that big green wall, I can't tell you how I feel. This is our hometown. This is our hometown. And over at the college, the Wildcats are playing hard. Driving out on Griffith Street, I see Miss Evelyn in her yard. This is our hometown. This is our hometown. On Saturdays the farmers come. I wave to Mike at Big Oak Farms. I pick guitar on Stephen's stage while my friends sing along. This is our hometown. This is our hometown. This is our hometown.